welcome. I'm Lauren, and this is the third installment in my series where I demonstrate how to choose a color palette and then apply the colors to a page in adult coloring books. In the first video, I showed how to use the Dopely website and to choose pencils based on the palette. In the second video, I explained where I get my color palettes from and demonstrated how to choose one for a specific page. And in this installment, I'm going to show how I apply the pencils once I've chosen them to the page. So let's get started. Right, so the color palette that we chose was this one. Well, not that one. The next one was this one from Practical Color Combinations by Naomi Kuno. And this palette has blues and greens and reds and yellows, all of the colors that we need for the page that we're working on. Okay. Then, of course, I mapped out my colors and chose pencils using the Dopely system that I showed in the previous video, and I'll link it below. And then this is the page we're working on from Mythographic Imagine by Joseph Kattenbang. And as you can see, I have already based the page with alcohol markers. So what I have done here is taken the colors from the color palette and applied them to the page in the areas where I want those colors to be. So the ground is brownish, yellowish, the sky is bluish. Then I've got some different colored leaves based on that palette. And then I decided that the robot was going to be a goldish, copperish color. And so I've based it with yellow. This process of mapping out the colors with the markers also helps with this kind of page, which is very busy. So as I was going along, I marked out the areas that were quite large. And then once I had done that, I could notice the smaller areas and add additional color so that it was easier to see where everything is, because this page is very, very detailed. Okay, so now that I've mapped out all the colors that I want to use with alcohol marker, I'm going to go on top with colored pencils. So as you saw in my notebook, I'm going to show you again. I have mapped out the colors that I want to use based on the Dopely system. And for the robot, which I want to be a coppery goldish color, we'll see how it turns out. Sometimes after you finish coloring, the color that you had in your head is not necessarily the color that ends up on the page. Anyway, so these are the colors that I'm going to be using. Okay, and I'll show them to you. So I'm going to actually start with this one. This is Loganberry from Derwent Colorsoft. It's actually a maroony purple color, but when you add purple to yellow, you get a deeper orangey reddish color. And sometimes that's perfect for shadow areas in gold. Okay, I've also got Coconut from Spectrum Noir Color Blend Pencils. Then I've got a 65, yes, from Kohinoor. Another Kohinoor, 44. And another one, I think that says 29, yes. And then I have my little 68 from Castle Arts. And I have a black Prismacolor. So as you can see, I've used pencils from different sets. I picked the pencils to match the colors from the palette. So what you could do is you could choose any pencils from any set that you have to match the colors or get the closest color possible. Or what you could do is choose one set that you want to work with and choose the closest colors that match the palette from that set. It doesn't really matter. Either way, you're going to end up with a beautiful picture. It might not match the color palette exactly, which is also okay. The color palette is simply a guide. It is not a hard and fast rule that you have to use those exact colors. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to start with the robot's face. Right, so the first thing we need to decide is where we want the highlights to be. So I've decided that I want the highlight to be here in the middle and here. Now, as you can see, Joseph has already given us some guides as to where the highlight should be. So he's put these lines where the shadows will be, and then where the highlight should be is left without any of those lines. So I'm going to follow his guide and put the highlight in the middle. So what that means is that I am going to leave this area uncolored. Now, as you can see, I already put down the alcohol marker. Alcohol markers dry much lighter than the coat that you originally put down. So if you only put down one layer of the marker, you're going to get a colored page, but it's going to be very light, which is exactly what I want. And so that's what I'm going to do. As I said, I'm going to leave the highlight in the middle. So yeah, I take my lightest pencil. Some people work from dark to light. They put the shadows in first, and then they go over it with the lighter colors, and other people put in the lighter colors and build up towards the dark. I belong to that group because I feel that if I make a mistake, it is much easier to erase a lighter layer than it is a darker layer. Not only that, because the darker layer is the last layer, if you erase it, you're still left with the color from the original layers beneath it, and so you can just easily add in more colors. So that's why I work from light to dark. I am just going to put a page under my hand, and also I have a page underneath the page itself because yeah, I don't want to get any color onto the page beneath. Okay, right, so I am just going to add in my lightest color, which is the Hardmouth 44. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that I leave my highlight area. So light pressure. Okay, if you want light pressure, you hold the pencil further along the barrel, and this loosens your grip automatically. So there we go. We're just gonna leave this area untouched for now. And we just go around and put the color down where we want it. Now here in this area, we have this object here, which is casting a shadow onto this object. So we color here, and then we have these leaves also casting a shadow. Okay, and around the leaves, again, there's a highlight here, so we make sure not to touch it. Here also a highlight, and here, so only where we see the lines. Okay. All right, there's also this line section here where Joseph has indicated shadow. So we color over that bit. Can go a little bit into the highlight area, just a tad. Put some color down. Okay, here too. Okay. So you follow the guide that the artist has given you. Now, if you've got a page where the artist has not given much indication of where the shadows can go, you can always look at reference pictures. You can look at pages that other artists have colored to get some ideas. Yeah, the coloring community is very generous, and we don't mind if people look at our work and get inspiration or guides. Okay, right. So there we go. So as you can see, I've left my highlight, and now I'm going on to my next color. Okay, my next color is also the Kohinoor, and it's number 65. It's like a beige sienna color. Let me just show you in the color palette which colors I'm actually working with. Okay, so here in the color palette, we have this yellowy color. Okay, it's like a yellowy gold color, and this is the color that I based and got my pencils from Dopely from. So this is the one we're working with. Okay, so again, I have this color, and I'm once again just going to be putting it, yes, and on top of the color that I've already applied, but not going as far. So I'm still leaving, yes, my highlight. And I'm going to go around these wedges. Okay, so as we can see, this robot has these teeth, yeah, and the bottom teeth are covering the face. Okay, so we put more shadow in between them because they are casting shadow onto the face. So that's why we put a bit more color here around them. And again, here, this object that's casting shadow, and then the leaves. Okay, and we use the guides that Joseph has given us. Okay, so we just put in our color, slowly layering. I think if you've watched my videos before, I've explained that I'm a layerer. Not everybody enjoys layering because it's a slow process. Some people prefer to just put the color down quickly, which is also okay. That's also a good technique. But I like to build up the colors slowly. So that's what we're doing. Okay, and again, we've got this shadow area. Again, light pressure. Okay, now we've got these eyes, and as you can see, there is the eye itself, and then we've got this area that's lighter around each eye. That you can either do one of two things. You can either make it darker, which will make the eye darker, bigger and darker, or you can leave it as a highlight and go around it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go around it. Okay, so very lightly, just go around the eye. It will make the eye look more deeply set by doing this. Okay, this side too. Okay, so I'm just going around the eye. I want to make this shadow a little bit bigger, so just lightly deepen it up, go a bit more into the highlight area, not very much because we want to keep our highlight. Okay, so if you layer up like this and you see the color building, yeah, then it's easier to correct mistakes. It's also good to see how the color builds and where you want to add more color. Okay, right. Okay. My next color that I'm going to use, I just want to make sure it's going to be the Spectrum Noir color blend coconut, but I just want to make sure that it is the color that I think it is. Yeah, let's give it a try. It is a warmish brown. Okay, let's have a look. Let's see what happens. Okay, sometimes you can't really predict what's going to happen with the colors. Oh, yes, that's nice. Okay, so you see it's slightly darker than the sienna. Okay, and again, I'm just going into my shadow areas and deepening them up with this color. Okay, You go around this part where there's a cast shadow. Darken up this area, and around the eyes again. Okay. Yep, just slowly but surely build up the color. Okay. Right over there, and here too. Okay, and as you can see, we've left our highlight, which will automatically make the robot's face glow. Okay, now we're going to go in with the Loganberry, which is a Derwent Color Soft. Now, I just want to show that in the color palette, this is not a color that is associated with that yellow. Rather, it is the color associated with this purple. So when I chose my colors from Dopely, yes, this color, yes, is the color that I got from this purple, not from the yellow, which shows you can mix and match the colors together to get new blends, okay? I know that adding purple to yellow will get a maroonish orangey color, okay? And so I actually think that my pencil needs to be sharpened. 1 second, this is my sharpener. I have a Tagal. Okay, right, and now I'm going to put this down in the shadow areas only. So as you can see, it is darkening up everything and giving everything a slightly purplish maroony tint. One of the things I love about coloring is that you get such interesting color combinations by mixing colors that you don't normally think would go together. So purple and yellow are complementary colors. They're opposite each other on the color wheel. And so when you mix them together, you get interesting shades. Okay, so now that I have finished deepening the shadows with the Loganberry, I'm going to go in with my next darkest color, which is the 68, and darken them up even more. Okay, this building up of the dark colors around the highlight area makes everything start to glow. Okay. Right, now here I'm going to make it a bit darker because the cast shadow is here. And here too, and here as well. Sometimes you don't see the color immediately. It takes time to build up. Okay, here you can press a little harder with the pencil to get the color down, to show on top of the areas where you've already colored. So a bit more pressure. Okay, and don't be afraid to go over areas you've already colored. The more layers, the better. Okay, here at the back, okay, we make it a bit darker because all of this is in the shadow. Okay, and in the mythographic books you have areas that are in black, and I usually go over these areas with my darker color because black is a, for want of a better description, it's a dead color. it does not really have any life to it. And so if you go over the black areas with another color, they'll still be dark, but they'll come to life a bit more. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking this 68 and just going over the black areas. Okay, here too. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and go to my really lightest color, which is 29 from the Kohinoor. This is a blending color. Light colors, either white or cream or really light yellow, are blending colors. And now I'm going to go over everything with this color. You can even go a little bit into the highlight area. Okay, so with relatively hard pressure, I go over the colors and I blend it all together. Okay. Now, some pencils are better at blending than others. Pencils like Prismacolor or even Castle Arts, which are a bit softer, blend quite smoothly. They smush sort of the colors together. Kohinoor is a bit of a harder pencil, so is Polychromos pencils. And so there you have to layer a bit more to get the blendability. They don't blend as smoothly, but I actually like the way it's starting to come together. Okay, this area where I've got my highlight, I'm going to go in a bit more. But because I've left the highlight, yeah, I'm going to get lighter colors there. Okay, blending. Still make sure to leave highlights. Okay, I also rotate my pencil as I color so that I don't blunt one end of the pencil completely. It means that you don't have to sharpen as much and you get more out of your pencil. Okay, blending. Okay, now here, as I come into the highlight area, I want to make sure that I am maintaining my highlight, so don't go too far. A little bit, but not too much. And make sure to leave the highlight. Okay, you can always put highlight back in with white. Oh, I see that it's gotten a bit dirty there, so I'm going to get my eraser. I make sure that my eraser is clean because it's got some color on it from a previous page. So I just make sure, yeah, to clean it on a scrap piece of paper until it's clean again. Yeah, and then I can see that I want to erase a little bit of dirt there, and then I brush it off with a brush. Yeah, not with my fingers because otherwise you're gonna smudge. Okay, and make sure, yes, every once in a while to clean off the tip of your pencil so that residue from darker colors doesn't get on your page. Okay. Here, when I'm going into the highlight, I'm using very light pressure. Okay, now once you have blended a little bit with the lightest color, you're going to see that you've lost some of the color from the darker colors. So if you want, if you like the way it looks, you can leave it. But if you want to, you can go back in with the darker colors and put them back in, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. So you just slowly layer each of the colors until you get the desired result. When you're happy with it, you stop. If you're not happy, you carry on. Okay, and there we go. I think Yeah, one more color. The Loganberry. Yeah, Loganberry. Now with good paper, like you have in the mythographic books, you can just keep layering and layering and layering. Some paper is not as good, and at some point, the paper is just not going to take any more layers. At that point, unfortunately, you just have to stop and accept what you've got. I want to blend this out a bit more. Oh yes, that's nice. Okay. Right, and yeah, let's zoom out a bit. Yeah, and there we have it. So you can already see the difference between the areas that have no pencil, yes, and the areas that have pencil, and then you just keep at it with all of the elements on the page. You apply all of the pencils that you chose, you put in your highlight, and you keep going. Right, so I hope that you found this video helpful, and make sure to check out the first two installments of this series. So I'm going to continue coloring this page off camera. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave me a note below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. So yeah, I hope to see you soon. Bye.